Now, the super easy 2020 rule is going to change your life. How many things are you keeping in your home because you might use them one day? The stationery set just because you might start writing letters again. Or those shoes that are too tight, but they might fit one day if your feet will shrink. Or you'll just be strong enough to not care that your shoes are too small. Or those 8 sheet sets because a circus family might come to visit. Now, you want to declutter your home, but you're not sure what to keep. Now, the 2020 rule will help, and there's a bonus 20 rule that can change your digital life. First, we need to understand the 2020 rule before we can understand the 2020 rule. And the 2020 rule is a genius invention, yet again, by those smart minimalists, Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus. And they have a great channel called The Minimalists. Now, the simple rule is that if you can replace something you are decluttering in less than 20 minutes for less than $20, you can declutter it. Now, there is more on how to put this into practice, so stand by, and I know some people have issues with it, and I'm going to get into those.
Popping in here just to send a quick note. There have been some issues on my channel and just with YouTube in general. It's very common with social media. And I had made this video before some of the issues had arisen. And I think they're being resolved. And thank you all so much. But I did want to have a quick request that make sure that you're subscribed, especially if you have subscribed before. A lot of people are being unsubscribed from not just my channel, like several channels, like amazing channels like Max Miller and all of these things. They're coming on here. So just make sure you're subscribed if you want to be. If you've never subscribed, consider subscribing. And thank you so much. I'll let you get back to the video.
But I love this rule for the items that we are really waffling about. Now, I know it can seem hard, but follow along and I will explain what is worth keeping. And remember, you are doing this because you have too much stuff, right? So how the heck do you use the 2020 rule? Now, I like to use this as a strategy to declutter almost your entire home, and it's great for a minimalist approach. Now, I don't want to keep too much, but when I want to declutter, I mean business. The first step is always getting set up, choosing the right spot, asking the right questions. I will link that video below so you can check that out after. But a quick synopsis is asking yourself, do I use it? Is it sentimental? Do I like it? Let's start with everyday items. When you're working through your garage or through your household items, you pick up an item, and maybe it's one of these coffee mugs that you never use, and you ask yourself, am I using this? Now, you'll answer no, and then ask, do I like this? No. Is this sentimental? Now, considering it's your average mug and you've got 21 more in your cupboards, the answer is no. Now, this is the easy part. You don't need to tuck it away back in your cupboard. Just use the simple rule of decluttering. Put it in your decluttering box. And this works great for everyday items that have been collecting dust for years. Now, I know you might be like, does this rule really work when I'm going through things with sentimental value? So what about sentimental things? Sentimental items are different and don't often fall under the 20-20-20 rule. Now, it's hard to replace sentimental items because we have emotionally tied feelings and meanings to objects. These are things from my dad who passed away in 2022. Now, I consider myself minimalist light, and I keep some things. I have kitchen items like a pasta roller and 2 KitchenAid mixers because I need those things for my grand creations. Therefore, I don't believe in decluttering everything. I keep some sentimental things from my own childhood, early romances with my husband, and I definitely have kept cute little baby shoes, and I even have a small bin of their artwork. So in my opinion, the 2020 rule is not applicable to many sentimental things unless they truly can be replaced for less than $20 in less than 20 minutes. But if it's sentimental, it generally it doesn't even make sense. It's basically like an oxymoron at this point. Some people think, I don't want to waste a bunch of money. And if you're looking around a cluttered room that has piles of things on valuable space and you're thinking, okay, so declutter it and then buy it again. No. The point is that we are letting things go. We might need it one day, maybe, but probably not. Of all the things I have ever decluttered, I've only repurchased one thing. Well, a set of things. It was a set of these 2-liter canning jars that I used to make kombucha. And you know what? I don't regret decluttering those because for a full year, I did not have 6 gigantic jars kicking around, threatening to shatter at any moment. And the reason why I stopped using them was because I was like, I'm done with kombucha. I'm not going to make it anymore. And then lo and behold, I felt like making it again. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get more jars. But we are decluttering things so we can have a more peaceful and clutter-free and tidy space. Now, of all the things, so many things I've ever decluttered, this is the only thing I've replaced. A jar. Well, 6. Just in case items. Now, this is where the incredible 2020 decluttering rule or the 2020 rule are at their absolute best. So we keep what we use, like really are using, not what you think you should be keeping or what you are aspiring to use. Now we keep artwork that we like because it's not cluttering things up and it makes us feel happy. However, I wouldn't want too much artwork. And I also want to make sure that I'm stopping to appreciate it. We keep sentimental things, but not too much. And I can get into that in other videos, and I have, and you can check that below. But the I could use it one day or the just in case items are perfect for using the 2020 tactic. Now, say you're decluttering your kitchen drawers and your kitchen cabinets, you start pulling things out and you realize that you have a nice pile of things that you haven't used in over a year. Now you think, okay, I can declutter this, but then you think, wait, well, what if I need this one day? Aha, that is a great thing about the 2020 rule. If it's something like a sushi rolling mat, speaking from recent experience, you probably will never replace it. Now, before I get into how to use this rule throughout your home, what is with the extra 20 to make the 2020 rule? Now, in 2020, Gabe Bolt, who has a great YouTube video, and I will link that below, he added the additional 20, and he added that if you can declutter something digital and replace it in 20 seconds, then you should. I think that is absolutely genius. He took the already wonderful 2020 rule and said, what about those apps I have on my phone for stores and things that I never use? And he decided that if he could download the app or access the digital content in less than 20 seconds, he would delete the item and see if he needed it later. So smart, because so often we're not going to. And the problem with clutter is digital clutter has taken up just so much space in our lives too. So if you pulled your phone out, you would probably, if you're anything like me, see several emails and messages that you have not responded to and be like, oh my gosh. So in addition to the emails that I'm not dealing with, and Slack messages I'm not dealing with, there are a whole whack of apps that I am not using. You can use the 2020 and the 2020 decluttering rules throughout your home. The living room, for example, even the Apple TV in your living room, if you have one, we have one. It has apps that we haven't used since like the last Olympics. It has Treehouse, which is like a Canadian kids thing for like preschoolers. We have that on our still. My youngest is 14. So we can remove that. And you can re-download applications for less than 20 seconds. For goodness sakes, delete them, download them again if you really need them, but you probably won't. Like the whole point of all of this is you really probably won't. What about the bathroom vanity? Maybe you have some lotion in there that you're not using. I know for me, I definitely have kept some things because hair products and makeup and things, they're expensive. But if we're not using them, that expense is literally just taking up our space. We can learn from that. And if one day I need this lotion, oh, I like this lotion, but if I need this lotion again, I can take my little tush to the store and buy more. But for now, I'm not using it. Not to mention, this stuff gets old, gross, quickly. What about in the laundry space? Have you ever seen those dog and cat hair catchers? I bought a couple and I never used them. It was like $5 Canadian. If for some reason I figured out I would need it, I could certainly go back and buy it. Another thing is we might have purchased cleaning supplies that we just do no longer use. Again, if you can repurchase it for less than $20 and you're not using it, you probably don't need it. Just make sure that you check your municipal instructions for how to dispose of cleaning products. What about the bedroom? What's in your nightstand? Don't tell me everything, but I know in my own nightstand, I found a wooden foot roller. Now they're absolutely great for massaging your feet, and I don't use mine, so I donated it. How about old novels and books that you're not using? If you're not planning to read them again, I say donate. The closet is also another fantastic place to put the 2020 rule into place. Now, if you're anything like me, you can find a medium navy turtleneck that is suspiciously like a similar item, the dark navy turtleneck. These duplicates can make it very easy to declutter. And Marie Kondo would be so proud of you. You can send that dark navy one to the thrift store because it kind of looks black, doesn't it? How many items are in there that you don't use? And that could be replaced. Clearing out your closet can have a positive impact on your mental health when you open those doors in the morning and find a nice, tidy space. If I had $1 for every time a kid said to me, "Did you declutter that cable that I need?" then I would have about $4. Now, that's actually less than $20. And you know what? I have saved myself the burden of having like tons and tons of cables everywhere. I used to have a big bin full of them, and I decluttered that. So sure, you might think there's an extra cost that comes with it, but guess what? I didn't replace any of those cables. And the kids actually managed to find solutions with other things that they had. And even if I did have to replace one of those cables, it would have been cheap and it probably would have come for free with some other thing that we purchased. Pop open your laptop and look at what applications that you don't use anymore. I bet you've got more than a few. Declutter any old recipes that you maybe have downloaded and you're not using. Maybe you can add them to your Plan to Eat app, which I love so much. And it's also so lovely to have fewer things on my desktop home screen. Now, a great way to spend an evening is to slowly work through your phone, your iPad, and more. Cuddle up with a family member, throw on a movie, and just start going through your apps and photos. And I like to go through my photos about twice a year, and I delete duplicates. If you're like me, I'm sure you are, you just take pictures of notes and other things, delete them if you don't need them anymore. And as mentioned before, reviewing which apps and accounts we are using is a great way to reduce that digital clutter, because digital clutter is truly just getting worse. So the 2020 rule and the minimalist living part of why I am minimalist light is because I've realized that yes, I do have hobbies and things, but life is so much better now that I have embraced this lifestyle. And if I'm not using something, it goes. If you're like, yes, well, I just feel stuck. Here's the thing. There is a jump start for you. Try this. This is a 30-day minimalist game / challenge. It's super fun, super easy, and you will declutter a whack of things. And I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.